Hello and welcome to the Enlighten Me with Ronny podcast with your host Ronny. Before we start this conversation, let's jump to our esteemed panel of global leaders. First out is George Bush. How are you today?
Vision of one man to launch a wholly unjustified and brutal invasion of Iraq.
Okay, well that's weird, but let's hear from President Joe Biden.
And now is a time when things are shifting. There's gonna be a new world order out there, and we've got to lead it. We've got to unite the rest of the free world in doing it. So,
Oh, really? Well, how about Canada? Justin Trudeau. What are you planning?
Building back better.
Okay, how about the Australians? What is your plan?
We will be looking at what contact tracing looks like in the New World Order. And yes, it will be pubs and clubs and other.
And esteemed Klaus Schwab at the World Economic Forum.
In short, we need a great reset.
World Government Summit. Your thoughts about the subject?
At Dubai Expo 2020. And the title of this session, are we ready for a new world order?
Okay, let's change subject. What is COVID-19, Mr. Gates, if you will?
It's a disease mainly of the elderly, kind of like flu.
And we have some sad news, I hear.
Well, sadly, the virus itself, particularly the variant called Omicron, is a type of vaccine that
We do have some great news, doesn't we, Hillary?
Yes, we came, we saw, he died. Did it have anything to do with your visit? No, I'm sure it did.
I also hear that we have an unjust war in Ukraine. So who are we fighting for?
Right now, it's a critical time because we know that we not only fight for Ukraine, we fight for this new world order.
Yes, so there we have it, our esteemed panel of global leaders trying to make sense of the world. So instead of talking to them, I invited Randy from Soundwave Promotions today, and he is a creator that makes clips at this moment. I know you are going to start a podcast, you talked about that, so maybe in the future, but at this moment you're making clips of other podcasts and trying to distribute and make them go viral, help them achieve more views. So how are you, man?
I'm doing great. How about you?
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, relatively.
Yeah, as the world is spiraling out of control, I'm
Yes.
trying to hang on.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a little bit feedback. I can hear myself. You know, can you fix that somehow? As I said, you are a promotion channel, and as that guy, I think you're the best guy to ask. What's the top 5 podcast this year?
Top 5 podcasts this year? That's tough. I could tell you like the top 5 that I enjoy listening to.
Yeah.
The most. I enjoy Tinfoil Hat with Sam Tripoli, Macroaggressions with Charlie Robinson, Slow News Day. Well, actually, they're doing AM Wake Up now, Anarchy in the Morning. It's Steve and Pasta.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I also love listening to the Union of the Unwanted. That's only every 2 weeks. But, we don't get enough of that, actually, I don't think. And
no, you're right.
I'm trying to think of a 5th one. OBDM, I listen to them a lot because they're it's a lot more lighthearted. Get some funny.
Yeah, OBDM is my top at the moment. I listen to every episode they release as fast as I can.
Right.
They're doing them too late for me to listen live, but I listen the day after.
Yeah, I can. It's hard for me to catch anything live. I try. Especially OBDM. I'm usually not. They're usually in the evenings, and I'm done for the day usually. But yeah, I would love to call in live to their show at least once. talk to Mike and stretch it.
Yeah, I thought about it too, but I don't know. They're pretty harsh if you just call in, don't have anything to say.
Sometimes I'll just let you ramble if you have nothing to say.
Yeah, if you catch Mike on a bad day and you're calling in just to say you like the show, he's like, well, do you have anything to say? You're like, I like your show. Well, that's not good enough.
Yeah, Alex Jones cutting you down.
Yeah. Yes. So yeah, I'm listening to all of the ones you ramble off there, and slow news, they not that much. I have catch them from time to time because they're going live. Should be pretty soon. They are.
They usually go live hours ago.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a midday here, in the middle of the day. Yeah, that's why I catch them live, because yeah, they're early in the morning, so that's the midday for me.
Okay. Yeah, there you go.
So what's what are you looking into these days? What's the topic you're trying to get your head around and trying to understand? Is anything special popping out?
I mean, they're just hitting us with everything so fast. It's every day there's something new. It seems like, and it's recycling of a lot of the same things over and over again. I'm still trying not to lose focus on the whole COVID thing, because that, I think, that affected every single one of us on the planet, and for some reason, it's not talked about enough anymore. People are blowing it off like, it never happened. I just can't let go of it. I need to keep tweeting about it and talking about it. I don't know.
Yeah, do you think anything's going to happen? Do you think they're going to put some people in jail, or we're just going to memory hold it? Yeah, the monkeypox is very different from what we saw when the COVID started, because then every newspaper was in line, and at least here the monkeypox is, they're very, like, when the news comes, okay, we have one case, don't worry, it's nothing, you can't just catch it like that, and they're very adamant about trying to tell you don't worry about it, at least here in Finland. So I've seen the news in America, you're going a bit more crazy, but it's not COVID crazy.
No, well, and I have a feeling it's just a side effect of the actual vaccine. Like monkeypox looks similar to shingles. Shingles is something that you get from having a bad reaction to vaccines. I don't even like calling the COVID vaccines anyways. I usually call them experiments because they're not actually vaccines. But everybody thinks they're vaccines. You got to kind of work within that, I guess. Or you get stuck correcting people all the time.
Yeah, it depends who I talk to about that. If I'm talking to some person that has at least read one article and not just listen to whatever the neighbor said, I'm talking about gene therapy. If they don't know shit, just call it vaccine and move on. Try to talk about the.
And that's the whole basis of the whole argument. Their side of the argument is it's a vaccine. Vaccine words are power. If you give something a word like you name something a vaccine when it's not a vaccine, people just automatically think, oh, that's good medicine. I need to take that because that's going to help me. Because that's what vaccines do. They help us. Or same with using the PCR process as a test. It's not a test. But if you call it a test, you give it power to make people think, oh, it's a test. It's going to tell me whether I'm sick or not, when it actually doesn't. It's words mean something, and we got to be careful what we call things. We don't want to get stuck in their, but at the same time, we don't want to get stuck in the drudgery of trying to explain to them that in the very first place. They have no idea. They're not even going to try to operate out of that.
Yeah, it's a bit, if you would sit down and talk 9/11 with someone, you can't just bring up Tower 7 because they don't even know it existed. So you have to start like, or maybe there you can, because that's a big deal if they didn't even know that existed. So that's starts the conversation. But yeah, I agree that how we use the word, because I've heard that too. Well, it's a vaccine and vaccines work, and they explain the old way, and I'm like, well, this is not a vaccine, it's a gene therapy, and it doesn't work like you're saying it's working.
And they're using it on us like as an experiment. Well, they let on that it's like an experiment. I think they know exactly what it was going to do when they let it out, or if if it's even a thing. I'm still questioning if it's a thing. They haven't isolated it. There's no real proof of it. They have it's speculation basically on models of information. They just plug and play into it and say, oh, this is what it is, and that's how they make those mRNA therapies.
Yeah, I must say I'm not super well read on how exactly they did. I know they have the gene sequence code, and with that code they somehow made the gene therapy, but they also never isolated it. So I don't know how they got the code without doing that, or it's just a computer telling them this is what it should look like.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
How they explain it. That's what it seems like. They're just plug and playing things and making it look like, and that's how they're making the vaccines too, the experiments.
Yeah, and
so I can't even say it's an actual virus. I mean, have you heard of? I'm sure you've heard of terrain theory. We listen to a lot of the same things. So like, there's that whole argument. You just get buried in everything. They're so good at hiding and manipulating people into thinking what they want them to think. So questioning it at all just breaks people's brains. They don't want to dissect or look further into things. That's too hard.
Yeah, I must admit that the terrain theory breaks my brain a bit because I know the argument that they're like telling you that you're not really getting sick, you're just seeing the environment change and you automatically do that too, or something like that, instead of actually taking the virus in you and getting sick of that. Because I know the go-to thing they talk about is the experiment where they took the snot out of people and blew it in their faces and had them swallowing it and stuff like that, and nobody got sick.
Yeah, don't. My whole thing is question everything. Try not to dismiss anything outright. Don't believe in anything too much either. You gotta kind of just be in that middle area where you.
Tech. It has mysterious ways of working.
I mean, it's awesome. We can sit here and talk to each other on different parts of the planet.
Yeah, that's one thing. That's good.
And then we could share it out to everybody else to hear.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is. I don't really understand it, but I don't think many people do. So just going with the flow.
Yeah, that's another thing I question. Like, Sam Tripoli talks about this all the time. He thinks the internet wasn't part of their plan. It got out of hand. They lost control of it. I don't know. I question that because I kind of think it probably was always part of their plan. We've given up so much of our privacy to it, just to play games. You got to give up your.
No, I did it again.
Terrain theory. Yeah, questioning everything. So yeah, that's a fun thing, and I don't know. Do you fully subscribe to terrain theory or just curious?
Yeah, I'm just curious. Like everything, I think you got to question it all. Don't dismiss anything. Don't believe in anything too much either. So it's good to entertain. I don't know if terrain theory is real. I don't know if viruses are real. Or Rothschild, Rockefeller medicine. I would tend not to agree with whatever the Rockefellers are trying to teach us. So maybe I'm biased, but I'm not going to just dismiss what that is based on just because of some bad apples have bad dealings in the past. You just got to be careful. It's
yeah, that's
it's like
James Corbett's work, right? He made the documentary Rockefeller Medicine, and they went through that rabbit hole and how they made the schools and bought the medicines and everything and turned it into what we have today, big pharma.
Yep, exactly. And then, so then, you just try to keep your mind open so you don't get tricked, because the tricks are coming from everywhere. They're trying to get you from every direction. If you dismiss anything outright, you might miss something. Or if you believe in something too much, you might miss something, or you'll get fooled by something really easily. So just always got to question everything and hope that you can find the way to kind of zig and zag when other people are zagging and zigging. Just to stay above water,
I do like that expression. I had this conversation a few days ago that I don't believe anything, so I can listen to everything. That doesn't mean I have to believe it. So that's also, Sam has talked about that. If you are a black belt in conspiracies, you can listen to everything and just put it in the back burner and bring it out if you need it. So yeah, I think that's the conspiracy about how big pharma around the world. That's true today. That's no question about that. But there's a lot of other stuff. Like, I know if you're into Sam Tripoli, you know Eddie Bravo. So how do you feel about what he's preaching about the flat earth? You're sold or no?
Sorry. Yeah, that's another thing that I, it's like terrain theory. It kind of breaks my brain a little bit. So I don't really know how to respond. I'm not going to dismiss it because I've seen some of the experiments, and it makes you really question, like, what is going on here? I remember, I guess about a year and a half ago, I had a conversation with a friend of mine who brought flat earth to my attention before. And, I told him I just can't get past that. That was a year and a half ago. Now I'm more of a, I'll entertain it, and there is some good evidence to say that the earth could be flat, but I'm not going to totally say that it is flat. I've progressed from where I was before, because I wouldn't even really entertain it. I love space too much, but now, space could be fake now, it's just made in a Hollywood basement, like the Red Hot Chili Peppers say. So it's like, that bums me out if there's no space and we just live like on this flat plane. I don't know, there could be space too with the flat earth. I don't know, you can't dismiss anything.
Yeah, I agree. And the things that made me question, I'm not in the flat earth at all. I'm just seeing the videos from NASA, and it makes me wonder. When you see they're dropping balls when they supposedly floating, and guys flying with lines attached to them and stuff like that. So I'm like, and then the question, they have no pictures of Earth. That's a weird one. And when you say that, people would say, you can Google pictures of Earth. You have Google Earth. And no, that's made up shit. So it doesn't make sense to me. If we are up there, why don't we have pictures? It should be so easy. It doesn't compute in my head. Something is going on. I'm not sure what. Flat or no, I'm more into the hollow one, but
the hollow earth, that's another interesting one. I won't dismiss that one either. That could very well be true. I have no way of knowing whether it is or not. Like I just saw a story today. We're talking about pictures out in space. They just released the first pictures from the telescope, the $12 billion telescope or whatever, 20 billion. I forget how much they spent on it. Sending back the first full color images of galaxies far, far away. How are we supposed to know that actually really happened? That was a picture that we got from that thing that we sent up into space. We've seen better computer graphics, back in the early 2000s than what we're seeing in those pictures. So I don't know. I'm not going to take the word for it. I just think NASA's like a money laundering scheme anyways. For the most part, they don't need to spend that much money on a telescope up in space to take color images that are, just basically computer graphics that were made up from data that they got. So it's not even real pictures, it's just made up hocus pocus nonsense, which really bums me out, because when I was younger, I loved that. I loved space, and I loved, aliens and other creatures from beyond, which you know, I'm not going to dismiss all that anyways. I mean, there could be planets out there and other universes, but then again, it could all just be bullshit, and it could be interdimensional, or it could be, you know, anything really. We don't know nothing. We know nothing. We're all trying to figure it out.
Yeah. So let's show the Hubble telescope that you're talking about here. So this is supposedly from 1995. It's deep shear. If you're wrong, you're wrong. So call him out if you're wrong. And this is the picture from today. So I'm like, are they going backwards? I think this is a better picture. This is just like the picture you have with a bad phone when the light stretches out and you don't see anything. So this is the same thing as they say with the moon missions. We had the tech, now we don't have it anymore because, well, they had first they lost it, then they destroyed it, and then they recovered it again, and then I think they destroyed it again, and it's they're going halfway, like in a circle, trying to explain what the fuck happened over there. So yeah,
I know, that's so funny.
The space tech is very weird to me. I mean,
yeah, and yeah, I didn't see that post from Deep Share. That's an awesome post. I need to go on Instagram more. I'm always on Twitter. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it's the same thing that happens. I love the meme when you see technology and where we started and where we are today, and you see the phone and the plane and the internet, and then you see the moon mission and today, and it's a deleted box somewhere. You don't have the tech anymore, and you're like, I'm not sure about this. It's supposedly the only technology in the world that's not progressing, and we are paying billions of dollars a year. So it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I remember hearing about those missing boxes like 20 years ago. I think it was on Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie or Art Bell, one of the two. Yeah, and I couldn't believe it then, and you know, it just seems like more and more that, you know, it's very much believable. The more evidence comes out, you know, it just blows your mind. They totally, you know, just psyoped everybody into thinking that, you know, because, you know, yeah, I don't really believe we went to the moon. I don't. I mean, you don't, like you said, you don't just lose the technology. Oh, we don't know how now. Like how? You know, that doesn't make any sense. No, you either know how or you don't know how, and you never knew. That's how I see it.
Yeah, it's always those prestigious things also. If you're like, oh, we didn't have a web camera working on Epstein, like, and you didn't have the technology on moon. It's all the biggest things that somehow disappears into the thin air, and we just sit here and look at each other like, I don't think everything is going as planned here. Something is not right. I'm not sure because all the space things, because it's too big. When someone tells me the sun is going to eat us up in like whatever billion years, I'm like, okay, how does that concern me? If the species human mind lives a billion years, I'm pretty sure we're not here on Earth anymore in a billion years. And if we are, we have tech that probably going to put some water around the sun and keep it away. It's not, we're not, everything is evolving, so why wouldn't tech like that need to come out also? It's I don't see the issues.
Yeah, or you know, how do they know for sure? I mean, that's all just theory. When I was younger in high school, I remember my science teacher telling me, you know, everything's theory. There isn't really any facts, and that kind of twisted my brain up. You know, so then why am I here? What am I here for? You're trying to teach me what? I mean, there's no facts, and I couldn't believe it. I fought against him. And now that I'm older, now I see what he was saying. You know, we don't know. We're all theorizing. We're just making shit up to fit puzzle pieces and that look nice in these certain areas. You know, and then later on we find, oh, that didn't fit very well. We got to move it. You know, and try to. There's either some new information that came in that changes what the theory was. You know, so everything's always evolving. Nothing's really black or white fact. You know, most things, like in life, most things are in the gray area and not in a black and white area. Even though they like to try to put everything in that black and white, duopoly type, two, I can't think of the word, poles, the opposite poles, the yin and the yang, it's not always like that. They want to try to make everything that, so we're always on one side or the other, bickering with each other to try to figure out what's going on. When in actuality, it's a bunch of things going on all at the same time. We're all kind of right. We're seeing, like you said, we're seeing that things don't add up and there's something going on, and it's just what is that's going on that we are bickering about, instead of just going, all right, well, let's stop this is going on and let's start over. It's going to be hard no matter what. No one has the answers. I definitely don't have the answers. I just going along like everybody else, just trying to figure things out.
I'm with you to 90% because I think there are facts that you have to live by. Like if you tell me that Russia invaded Ukraine with no reason, that's a sentence you can't say, because even if you feel like the reason is not valid, there is a reason. So you can't, that statement is just false. There's always a reason for every action that happens. So just from that, when you hear the news they're saying here in Finland too that he had no reason, unprovoked. Well, it was provoked. In that case, you can't come with me and this is your fact and this is my fact. No, some cases are solid and you have to just live with it. And I don't feel like space is that, because they're going back and forward every time, and you listen to everybody that's into this is a flat plane we're living on, always brings up Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he is like, you can't see the curvature when Max Baumgartner jumps from 30,000 feet or 130 or whatever it was, and he's like taking the earth ball and smashing it into his face, and he's this close. So I'm like, yeah, maybe it's just so fucking big. It seems like it's flat. That's what I'm more into, but whatever. I don't think, even if it was flat, I think we somehow would figure that out. I'm not sure. I think there's so many people on this earth that someone would stray out. Maybe they just kill them, so we never hear about it. That might be too. So
yeah, I mean they kill people all the time for lesser. So,
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
you know.
video from I think it was Australia. Some guys was like, let's go to the edge, and they drove out in the below New Zealand and straight down, and they got met with, well, military ships came to them and told them to turn around. I'm like, why? Doesn't make sense. If you look at the ball, it's just water. They should be able to just go around and come up. I think they should be coming up somewhere around here in Finland. Shouldn't be a big problem. It's a bit ice in between, but so that's weird to me. I think why would they in the middle of nowhere, bumfuck ocean, care if you're there or not? Doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, and that's one of the arguments that Eddie Bravo and then Hibbler, I think his name is, that he made the documentary. That's one of their big points. They won't let us go. Just let us go and see what we see. See what we, if there's nothing, there's nothing. What's it gonna hurt? But they won't let them go. So at some point, maybe somebody will, and we'll see what we see. There's obviously there's something they don't want us to see. Either it's military bases or whatever. Who knows? It could be a lot of things. It could be like they say, there's whole other continents out there, beyond the ice bridge or whatever they want to call it. Who knows? It could be the entrance to the hollow earth. It could be, anything. It's pretty fun to entertain and try to think about. Hopefully one day we'll get to see, but who knows?
Yeah. So let's leave that crazy ass topic for another day and bring it back to some kind of reality. So you're in Mexico, you said. So how are life in Mexico now? Are gas prices soaring? Do you have food on in shelves? And how is life over there?
For right now, it's pretty good. We are doing fine. We don't own a car, so we don't really have to worry about gas too much. But from talking to our taxi drivers, it's getting to be it's pretty high, just like everywhere else. I think what they say, $5, about $5 a gallon. Here, it's in liters, so I don't know how all that mathematically works out. But that's what our cabbies have told us, our taxi drivers. But as far as food goes, for the most part, food's on the shelves. There's some things that you don't get sometimes, but that's kind of normal here, especially when you're looking for specific items like, like that you can get in America. So we're really not affected by that too much. But yeah, there's, as far as like laws go, mandates or anything like that, we're all in the green. There's no, they don't worry about masks or anything like that anymore. But we haven't really seen any of the food supply issues, the supply chain issues that are going to be coming. I'm sure of it. We've already noticed a big increase on prices of meat. Even though like there's a lot of meat we get actually locally, prices are still getting raised. It doesn't matter. Inflation's hitting everybody everywhere. And that's what happens when you purposely destroy the middle class everywhere to transfer all the wealth up to the already rich and powerful. It's just horrible. The printing of all the money that all these governments have done, just to intentionally tank everything. Problem, reaction, solution. Create the problem. Already have the solution that you already have pre-planned. Ready to go, which is the Great Reset. You'll own nothing. You'll be happy because you're so drugged up. You have no idea. You're not supposed to be unhappy. Eating bugs in a pod, living in the metaverse. That's what they want, and that's only if you're a good citizen. The rest of us, just go by the wayside. They, hopefully they'll take us out before they start putting in all the compliant into the smart cities, which is what our future, our future descendants. No, that's what our future generations. There you go. Future generations will, they won't even know what they lost. They'll have no idea. 1984, the George Orwell book kind of goes into that, which is it's sad. It's sad, you won't even know, like our great-grandchildren won't even know what they lost if they're stuck in those smart cities. I know I'm rambling, but.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm totally with you. I think it's a very crucial time we're living at this moment, and we somehow need to. We don't need to get rid of the technology. We don't need to go full Ted Kaczynski, but we definitely need to cut it away from our lives, and especially keep an eye on who is building the tech, and because you can build tech and it helps humanity in so many ways. So that's a problem with it. You can do so much good, but you can also do as China's doing now, put foot ankles bracelets on, and if you're in quarantine, because if you leave the house, the police will come and bash your head in. And the problem with that is the Great Reset is looking to China and how they're implementing stuff, and they wanted to bring it to the Western world, and I don't think people understand what that really means. I don't myself really understand it. I just know I don't want it. I don't want to have a foot ankle monitor on me if I had a cold for a weekend. Now I'll sit in 2 weeks, and if I leave the house, the police will show up and put a gun to my head. And yeah, so but we see some pushback. We have Sri Lanka now. They have toppled the government, and Germany and Spain and I think some other countries here in Europe is spraying shit on their political houses. So that's a good thing. I mean, I don't see how they can push everything through. It's such a big world, and they have the technology they want us to use is not implemented yet. So I don't see in the coming 5 years, I don't see it coming maybe in the 20 years, but not that fast as they want it, at least. But then again, I just read that we have now in 2035 we can't buy diesel cars anymore in Europe. And I have a diesel car, so I have looked into selling it, and it's basically worth nothing. So I'm like, okay, I have to drive this car now, I guess, until it's breaking down, and throw it and buy a new one. So it's not even worth selling anymore.
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons why we got out of California was because they're just going so crazy with this green energy initiatives. Like you're not allowed to have a gas powered lawnmower. I think by the end of like the year 2025 or something like that, they're outlawing all gasoline engines, or it might be 2030. I don't know. It's insane. I don't know how they're going to be able to do it unless they do it by force. I just don't see how that's going to happen. We had to get out because all the mask mandates and we were worried that they were going to force the vaccine on people. I'm surprised they actually didn't. I mean, they did to a point, with people taking people's jobs, and we had to deal with that ourselves. So we had to make sure that we had to save ourselves. And it was getting so expensive there. We were living paycheck to paycheck and not doing anything with our lives, just working and going home. Then when the lockdowns hit, it kind of just shook us awake, like, hey, this isn't life. We shouldn't be living this way. We need to do something better. So we decided we're getting out of there, and we were looking at Texas. We were looking at Florida. I just kind of wanted to go somewhere where I didn't have to pay taxes, because I think taxation is theft, especially from a corrupt government like we have. And California, you pay so much in taxes itself, and you don't see where any of it goes. It seemed like day by day, more and more homeless were lining the streets where we lived. It was getting worse and worse. It wasn't getting better. People were getting forced out of their homes. Rents were being raised. Jobs were being taken away. It was just unattainable. So we decided, screw it, let's go to Mexico. We'll travel. We'll be able to afford things a little more, which we are. I don't have to work a 9 to 5 anymore. I'm able to do what I do now. And, I'm just trying to spread awareness to people, and try to get people to listen to people that are smarter and more well-spoken than I am, to say the things that I want, that I agree with, and I want other people to hear it, and hopefully they find it agreeable. And if not, maybe it might make them think a little more about what's really going on instead of just going through the motions.
Yeah. I think they can. I hope they do it by force. The Agenda 2030, because that's gonna wake everybody up. But if they are not, I think we're gonna see something really weird happen. We're going to see the middle class and upper class in the Western countries move to the Mexico and other countries that are, in our eyes, broken and poor countries, so we can live with our savings like we are living at this moment in that country. And the people living in the poor countries are going to move up to our countries and get the free money from the government, and they're going to be enslaved by that system. And I'm guessing I don't have the money to move anywhere, so I'm probably going to be here with most of the third world guys working some shit job eating crickets. So But yeah, when you talked about the corrupt governments, I just wanna show this little thing to my viewers also. So this is the Prime Minister of Finland, and this is the World Economic Forum, and this is the President of Finland, World Economic Forum. So yeah, they're coming from every turn and angle they can find. And also, I didn't have time to Google her name, but it's something Anni, and she is the person that's in charge of the economic, like everything economics in Finland, and she's also in the World Economic Forum. So they have taken the biggest positions and put them in, and they're going through the globalist training. So I think the way we should go about this and trying to like educate people about what's happening is maybe not go too dark. Just have them ask, are you ready to, like, they're going to eat the crickets in the future, but are you ready to, you have to buy everything electric. Do you have the money for that? Or is that going to bring you down on your knees and out on the street? And that's what's going on at the moment. You see it in Netherlands at this, when they're saying to the farmers, stop farming now because the Green New Deal. And that's, I hope they do that everywhere, because you can't go in to a business and tell them, oh, well, they did in the whole world for 2 years, so maybe they can. So I don't know. It's weird. People really need to think about, not, I don't want people to go, okay, so I can't work in this industry. Let's move to making solar panels or something. No, do not help them. So how do you think we should go about there? Just live off the land, or how are you doing? Like,
Yeah, I don't, you know, yeah. I've been trying to share a lot more like DIY, homesteading type content, just so people have that option. I don't really have that option right now because I can't really afford it. You know, you need land. You know, that's important. You need some land to be able to work and live on. Not everybody's going to be able to do that. So it's, you know, it's going to be a lot of sacrifice in order to make anything happen, really. Or you're just going to succumb to the system. You were talking about how, like, you know, trying to buy everything electric. What their main goal is, they want everybody to rent everything. You know, they want to own it all. That's the whole part of you not owning anything. You're going to have to rent everything you want to do. So it's, you know, everything's going to be sold as a service. It's just, they just want to take everything away from you that can give you the power to be independent off the system. They want you dependent on the system. So if they make it to where you got to rent everything by the people that own the system, that run everything, they control you. You know, it's just simple as that. You know, so yeah, you're gonna have to you know, find land that has water on it. You know, and you're gonna want to grow your own food. And if you can't right now, it's important to even just do it wherever you are right now. There's ways to grow some food for yourself and your family anywhere you live. And you know, it's just as easy as putting the seed in the ground. I know it's harder than that, but it just putting the effort in will help you and your family a lot. It'll help your neighbors. If everybody did that, we'd be less dependent on the system. But I know that's, you know, pie in the sky. You know, can't expect everybody to do something. You know, there's people that want to be controlled. They want to own nothing. They want that. You know, it's easier. You don't have to think. You don't have to, you know, you could just consume your content or whatever that you enjoy doing and just live that way, play video games or whatnot. I mean, I love playing video games too. I play them myself, you know, but I don't want to go into the metaverse, that's for sure. You know, I don't want to live there. I want to be out in the real world. I want to experience real things. You know, I don't want, it's just so frustrating. And then you see like the future generations, you know, they like my son, you know, he's content with just staying in his room all day playing on his phone, you know. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's coming. It's so addictive. It's so strange to see. I have 3 children from 0 to 4, and they are already crying when you take the phone away. And I don't know how to combat that. I know when I start, or my family, when I was in my teenage years, got the first computer, it consumed my life. I don't regret that. I had fun. I made some friends over the computer. I went to Sweden and visit them, and they have come here too. So it's not all that bad, but yeah, I put like 10 hours a day on playing Call of Duty in my teenage years. So well, it was a fun time. I don't regret it. The problem is I could have put that in some skills that I can use today. If I had put 10 hours on basically anything every day for like 5 years, I would be a pro on whatever that would be. So, and you see all the tech people, they're not letting their kids using phones and iPads and nothing, because they know they know what they are for. They are to make people comfortable. And so I don't know what's your approach there. How do you approach it with your child, or do you have just one child?
Right now I only have my son, he's 16 now. So he kind of, I don't really harp on him too much about it. I let him kind of do his own thing for the most part. As long as he's getting his schoolwork done and his chores done, you know, he's putting his responsibilities in front of the technology. During, like right now it's summer, so I don't really jump on him too much about staying up late or anything like that. I've always been a night person myself. So I've never really, you know, summer vacation, they kind of get to do what they want as far as just staying up or whatever. But during the school year, you know, hey, no, you don't go to bed with your phone stays with me. You know, so there's a time limit. But young kids like you, luckily I didn't have to deal with that. Like when my kids were younger, I didn't have a smartphone until they were a little bit older myself. And I try to stay away from the technology as much as possible. Now I'm hooked like everybody else is. So luckily I didn't have to worry about that too much. You know, I just turned the TV off and all right, it's time to go to bed, you know, or, you know, it's not time to watch TV right now. I didn't have to yank, you know, the phone out of their hand or, you know, so I got kind of lucky. Yeah, it's just, it's personal. It comes down to the kid, you know, how your kids react to, you know, you being the authority figure. Really, it's just a case-to-case basis, just like anything else, you know, comes down to the individual.
Yeah, of course, they're all different. And so I don't know, should you, is he playing games, or what is he watching videos? Do you have any, do you look what he's doing?
He's playing games and he's on YouTube, you know, watching videos. He gets on Twitter sometimes, Instagram.
So he's 16. Does he know what that does? Or do he have,
knows what how they're manipulating?
Yeah, like
yeah.
My dad is making clips here about how the government is controlling you. Does he know, and do you talk about it, or?
Yeah, we talk about it. He'll bring up stuff that's, you know, on social media or whatever. We'll talk about it. And yeah, you know, I tell him, hey, they're trying to manipulate you here. You know, be careful, or, you know, that seems like it's fake, or let's question that, or, you know, it's just always, you know, question what you're seeing. Don't just take it for what it is, you know, see what they're trying to do. There's something, you know, there's always something manipulative going on for the most part. You can kind of see where it's coming from. You know, especially the longer you're, you know, the older you get, the more you've seen it, the easier it is to spot.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm worried about when my kids are growing up. If they're just sitting down watching YouTube videos that doesn't make sense and doesn't do anything, I would be very worried about that. But if I see them playing, let's say Counter-Strike, and trying to get good, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to challenge them. If they can't beat me in like a year, they're not playing anymore. Like they have to have the talent or just waste of time. So that's how I'm going to try to go about it. Probably going to fail because when they have the taste of gaming, they're going to say, "Oh, fuck yourself," or whatever. So just maybe wishful thinking. But at least
Yeah.
as a gamer myself, I can at least challenge them. And if they just suck at it and they're telling me I'm going to be a pro and I beat them if easy, I'm going to say no, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, well, you know, and if maybe they'll keep trying and they might beat you one day. Who knows? You know, that's the whole thing. Just people gotta experience whatever they can experience and take from those experiences what they can. Hopefully, they get taught a little bit before that, like how the experiences are affecting them. You know, I wish I had more foresight when I was younger. You know, you hear that it's like a cliche, pretty much. You know, youth is wasted on the young. You know, like you're just so dumb and just don't know. The younger you are, the older you get, you're still dumb, but you kind of see kind of where things kind of lay and how things kind of work. Because you know, you got to go through it to actually experience it and realize that's how it is. That's how it works. No life experience doesn't give you anything to work off of. You know, and all this technology and all the electronics, you know, it really has taken away like just this face-to-face conversations really out in public. I remember when I was younger, being in public was a lot more social. You know, you're talking, saying hi to people, you know, talking to people. I used to take a lot of the public transportation where I lived, so there was all kinds of different characters going to and from school to learn from, you know, to talk to. Nowadays, everyone's quiet. They're all looking at their phones, you know, and it's kind of made everything not social at all, really. It's kind of hard to put your finger on it. I know that where I've lived in the past, it's never been the most social places, but it's just gotten so much worse. You know, moving down here in Mexico, when we do go out, everybody seems way more sociable, talkative. They want to know about you, and you know, you want to know about them, kind of thing. Whereas, you know, when I was in California, it was just go to work, come home, and there's no social interaction besides what you get on your TV or your phone, you know, and that's no way to live.
Yeah, I totally agree. I never been in a big city, so I don't know really how how the life in a big city is. I imagine how it is because I hear people talking about it. They say they have a next door neighbor, they don't know the name of the person living there, and they've been living next to each other for like 10 years. For me, that's very weird. I mean, no, I don't. I live in a complex now, so I think it's maybe 20 apartments in this place where I'm at, and every day we are out. And now we have a lot of Ukraine people here too, so I use Google Translate, trying to understand them, interact, and they have small kids, and my kids play with them. So yeah, I don't see how. I think everybody needs that, so I don't see how we can go in a pod and just put the VR goggles on and just live our life in the matrix. I don't think that will stick. Maybe for a few years.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, they just want to invert. You know, they just want to denature nature. You know, they just want to get rid of natural things, just make everything so unnatural for us. Yeah, living in the pod, plugged into the metaverse seems about the most unnatural thing I could really think of. I watched this show is on Netflix, and it was about, I think it was called Alien Worlds or something like that. And they had an episode, there's only like 4 or 5 episodes. And it's a series that documents like what they theorize what life on other planets would look like, or what life in the future would look like. And one of the episodes, they were talking about these beings that were so locked into their technology, and they had so much control over nature that they basically it was brain matter in vats of liquid, and that's what these beings ended up being. And they're being run by this AI that feeds the brain nutrients to survive, and they're basically all plugged into like the metaverse, and that's how they live their lives. They have no idea what's going on outside in the real world. They're plugged into their little universes inside, and they have robots and AI keeping them alive in order to live in that metaverse. It's just very, I don't know, when I watch that, I really want to clip it, and I can't, I'm having such a hard time finding it, but it's so weird to think about. And the way they presented it really made me think like, whoa, you know, like, yeah, there could be a future like this, or that's what they want. They want that future, you know, to where you're, or, you know, just plugged in and no one has to worry about you. You know, you can fight and claw and do whatever you want in your little universe. As long as you're powering the batteries that run the robots, that run the AI, that keep us all alive, you know. It's just weird.
Yeah, I do agree. And the big thing I don't really understand is, or when you listen to the World Economic Forum's panels about this topic, it seems like they really want to do it themselves too. It's not just put the plebs in the box. It's everybody. They want to be there because they're afraid to die. And that goes back to spirituality, and if you have something bigger that you can believe in, and if you don't have that, then you're just a speck of dust that doesn't mean anything. So if you can prolong your life by going into the computer and simulating your life forever, and yeah, I'm not afraid to die. I don't want to die, but I don't see how a person that is really afraid to die, that's the best thing they can be offered. Go into the metaverse, you can live forever, and you don't need anything. And if you have AIs feeding you so you stay alive forever, somehow, I don't think they will ever do that. They'll just kill off everybody. But so yeah, I think most of the people on this planet will say yes to that, or at least in the Western world. I don't really know how most of the planet are doing about. They don't even have phones, like in rural Africa. You can't go in there, and do you want to go in the metaverse? They're going, meta what? I'm going to get some water to my family. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, that kind of goes back to what you were saying, how you know, the people that are able to get out of the Western countries and into more of the less developed countries, and then the immigrants are coming from the less developed to the more developed countries as the rich or the more well-off move. You know, that could be just it. You know, they're recycling us through. You know, they got me hooked on the phone, and I moved away. So now they're gonna have, like, you know, somebody from Honduras or whatever grow up to America, and they're gonna get hooked on the phone. You know, so it's kind of like a cycle. I don't know where I was going with that. It kind of made sense when I started it, but it's just so diabolical. Just how great the technology is, and how easily it is to be abused against us. We really got to be careful. Where it is going to be like Black Mirror really goes into the episode of Black Mirror that really goes into downloading your conscious onto a hard drive, where this lady, she lost her loved one, like to cancer or whatever, or her loved one got downloaded into the simulation. She's perfectly healthy, but she wants to go into the simulation to be with her loved one. Her dad's sick, and she's trying to beg her dad into going into the simulation, and he's got spirituality. He believes in God. He's not afraid to die. What he's scared of is living forever, and he doesn't want his daughter doing that. It's a very interesting episode. It really gets you thinking about that whole subject, you know, living and dying, religion, technology. And I've been saying for a long time, Black Mirror is like a documentary from the future. You know, like they dropped it off here. Here, watch this. See what's going to happen in the future for you guys.
Yeah, I totally agree. I want to share this one. Tamagotchi kids. Could the future of parenthood be having virtual children in the metaverse? And I mean, that's even if, how do you even consider that being a parent? If you have a child on your computer that you take care of, like you're playing Sims, whatever number it's out, then
that's exactly what it is.
It's so stupid. I don't see how you get the emotions out of it. That's the big thing about being a parent, is the emotions to your kid, feeling the love and the not so much love. At sometimes, like 2 days ago when my kid threw a toy in the TV and it's broken, I didn't maybe wanted to hug him at that moment, but today I don't mind. It's broken. Nothing I can do about it. So yeah, I'm going to let my family back in. I went a bit over an hour here because we had some issues in the beginning. So let's plug everything you have, and this was fun meeting you.
Yeah, it was nice meeting you too.
I must admit, I was expecting a bit younger guy doing this tech thing, and then you are a middle-aged dude. I'm like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah, I'm 40 years old. I taught myself everything. Yeah, I wish I would have taught myself a lot longer ago. It would have been a lot, probably more beneficial for me. But I'm doing it now, so I'm pretty happy. You guys can find me at Soundwave Promo 1 on Twitter. That's where I mostly am. But I do post like 15 different sites. I'm on Instagram. I'm pretty sure it's Soundwave_promotions. I'm on Float. I'm on Rumble, BitChute, YouTube. But right now I'm on my second strike and I can't post anything. And actually on Instagram, they won't even let me post videos on there right now, unless I do it from my phone. For some reason, I can't do it on my laptop. But yeah, I just make clips, mostly Tinfoil Hat, because he supports me right now. But I do try to make clips of other shows, and I try to promote a lot of the shows that Ronnie promotes and listens to. That's how we kind of cross paths. So I'm hella excited and happy for you that you're doing your own thing, and I hope you keep it up and things go well, and we just start spreading the word and see where things land. Keep questioning everything, and you know, we'll keep in touch for sure. Get you on mine whenever I get off my butt to start mine.
Yeah, just you have the setup. Just need to put the battery in and let's go. No problem.
Yeah, I need to charge this thing. Jesus, Louise. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, but yeah, I had a great conversation. I'm glad we got to do this. Let's do it again.
Yeah, for sure. I did like it. I had some other topics, but we flew into whatever it went to here, and I liked it. And for sure, if you ever want to talk again, hit me up, and let's do it.
For sure. Yeah.
Have a great day.
Awesome. All right, you too.